Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bob and Rotish got us excited about football today. And these times with the World Cup playing in Qatar, it's really an excitement. So before I start, let me say that I am happy to be here in England today, the homeland of football. And if you expected a bit more from the English national team against the United States in the World Cup, the initial victory, as Rotish has said, of my team, Saudi Arabia, against Argentina, was a surprise for many. Of course, I don't expect you all to be football fans, maybe more, some. But I believe our victory of Argentina in a World Cup match may be a sign of a larger shift, a global shift. Africa and West Asia are rising. When it comes to the world economy, this is almost common wisdom, but the shift may also happening in sports. More importantly, I believe the shift is happening in mining. I would like to thank the organizers of Mines and Money for inviting me to speak here today. In the next 10 minutes, I will speak about the mining opportunities in the rising Africa and West Asia, why they are important to the world, and what are we doing in Saudi Arabia to support them. This conference is very timely. It comes shortly after the meeting of the G20 in Indonesia and the COP27 in Egypt. The conference theme, Resourcing Tomorrow, Accelerating the Energy Transition, is at top of the global agenda. When it comes to COP27, some have criticized the format and some the outcome, as Dr. Stracy has have pointed. I want to highlight a positive element. In Sharm el-Sheikh, emerging economies stepped up to help solve the biggest challenge we are facing today, decarbonization. As you know, decarbonization, the net zero transition, cannot happen without minerals and metal, a lot of minerals and metal. We need to scale up discoveries, and we need to scale up production. The World Bank says that by 2050, the production of minerals such as graphites, lithium, cobalt, and copper needs to increase by nearly 500% to meet the future demand for the clean energy technologies. To achieve a below 1.5 degrees increase of future, the bank estimated that more than 3 billion tons of minerals and metals are required. As the transition accelerates, minerals and metal supply chains need to become more resilient. The pandemic and the geopolitical tension have shown their weaknesses, and we have seen a rise in resource nationalism. As a consequence, we see price spikes for some minerals up to 350%. While these facts are known to all of you, the fact that Saudi Arabia is at the center of an emerging minerals and metal super region may be less present to you. This region spans from Africa through Middle East and West Asia and West and Central Asia. We have high prospectivity in this region, but many countries suffer from underexploration, poor infrastructure, lack of capital, and market access. In Saudi Arabia, we have addressed these issues with our mining transformation. For the benefit of the net zero transition, we need to make the most out of the potential in Saudi Arabia and the region. Success in minerals and metals is increasingly driven by advances in new technologies. They help accelerate exploration, de-risk investment, and improve safety and sustainability. This is important because we can focus on the communities where we operate and the workforce of the future. We can't scale up production if we don't care for the environment, the communities, and the people. That's why I believe the role of government is critical. In our industry, supply chains are complex, and developing new projects takes years, sometimes even decades. We need a stable environment. Government can create that. We bring together diverse stakeholders with diverse interests, rebuild trust in the industry, and help find common grounds. So what is Saudi Arabia doing in this regard? First, we take our role and responsibility as a member of the G20 very seriously. We are convening global discussion around minerals and metals and help convert them into meaningful action. For instance, this coming January at the Future Minerals Forum in Riyadh, we set up the forum to provide space for the global discussion on scaling up mining in our emerging super-region. But more importantly, in Saudi Arabia, we have transformed our mining industry. To de-risk investment, we have made geological data richer and more accessible. We recreated our legal and regulatory framework. We developed and are developing integrated value chains, and we are focusing on ESG and sustainability. And we have successes to show for. We have helped improve global food security by developing an integrated phosphate fertilizer value chain, putting Saudi from a non-existence to the world's third largest exporter in less than a decade. We have supplied aluminum markets by building a large mine-to-metal sheet industrial complex for the extraction and production of the finished products for the auto and can manufacturers. And finally, we are working with well-known electrical vehicle manufacturers and suppliers to the automotive sector to build a fully integrated EV cluster in Saudi Arabia. We are well placed to further scale up mining and build integrated value chains. We have a stable and committed government, and we have a stable fiscal policies. We have experience. We have low cost of energy. We have excellent infrastructure. We have a transparent and simple licensing process. We are offering significant incentives for investors. And we have an excellent location between the established markets in Europe and the rapidly growing ones in Asia and Africa. Europe, I would like to particularly highlight our work in hydrogen. We are creating the largest green hydrogen plant in the world. It's a $5 billion project that from a standing start is expected to produce up to 250,000 tons starting in 2026. Green hydrogen costs and prices need to become competitive. That's why we are further de-risking hydrogen investments to build an ecosystem along the value chain. This includes the production of green metals. This is where hydrogens meet the mining industry. McKinsey reports published last week makes the case that particularly the oil-rich countries like Saudi Arabia can lead in green hydrogen. It's a very instructive reading. My thesis for today, for the benefit of the net zero transition, Saudi Arabia and the region can and will become a leader in the sustainable production of energy transition metals. If this comes as a surprise to you, a little bit like my national team initial victory over Argentina, and I hope that you are not just surprised but also intrigued. We are open for business in Saudi Arabia, and I invite you all to come and see our excellent opportunities for yourselves. I invite you to the upcoming Future Miners Forum in Riyadh, January 10th to 12th. It's a great opportunity to see the transformation of Saudi Arabia and our mining industry firsthand and learn about the opportunities in my country and the region. I look forward to seeing you in Riyadh, hopefully in this January. In the meantime, let's hope best wishes and good luck to the England team today on the match, but maybe Wales come.
Reimagining Mining Theatre, sponsored by Anglo American, is about to start.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's have the best wishes for the English team, and maybe also Wales will surprise us all tonight. Thank you. We will see you.